Hello everyone, Tina here. I hope you're having a wonderful day. Thank you so much for joining me. Today I get to share with you two brand new Glimmer Hot Foil Plates. They're new Decorative Glimmer Hot Foil Plates, and they're new to the Spellbinder shop. And this one here is a 4-piece set. It is called Fanciful Corners. It is super pretty. Creates a beautiful corner on any project, or you can nest them together to create a beautiful square foiled image. I think it'd be gorgeous that way also. Okay, for today I'm also going to be using a Hello Glimmer plate. I wanted to show you the detail in those. They're just dainty and gorgeous. This Hello Glimmer plate comes with a coordinating die that will cut out the Hello sentiment. It's a super pretty font. It reminds me of like a soda fountain font, kind of a little bit old-fashioned. So we're going to use both of these in our project today. So off to the side, I already had my glimmer machine all heated up, ready to go. We're going to start off by adding our printer paper. I like to do this because it helps me align the cardstock that I'm using. I went ahead and added two of the corners, and I'm going to be using a real pretty blue foil. This is called SKYBRIGHT. I'm just going to trim down a small piece and measure those corners out. And the panel size that I'm using is going to be 3 3/4 inches by 5 inches. So both of my all four glimmer plates would not fit on my panel. So we're going to do 2 at a time. For my cardstock, instead of using white, I'm shaking it up a bit, and I'm going to use a real pretty soft blue. It's slightly lighter than my foil. I'll just build my sandwich. And then I'm going to trim down some extra pieces of foil for the other 2 corners, and I'm going to bring in my Platinum 6. So this is ready to go. We're going to go ahead and run this through the die cutting machine. We're going to go fairly slow, forward and back a few times. The cardstock weight is probably about 80 pounds, so I wanted to make sure of the even transfer here. And then we get to just remove our foil, and you get to see the beautiful decorative detail in these little corners. Now when I first saw this, after I lifted the foil, I thought these would make such pretty umbrellas. If you wanted to add a hook on the very bottom, you could create a pretty bridal shower card with this die set. Okay, anyway, that's what I first seen. When I seen the little curves on there, I thought that'd make a pretty umbrella. Well, I'm going to add the other 2 corners. Go ahead and add my foil face down. And we're going to foil the other corners on that same piece of blue cardstock. And I'm lifting up a little too fast because my foil shifted. I'm going to readjust it just a little bit. And then we'll build our sandwich. And then we'll go ahead and run this through the die cut machine. And again, we're going to go fairly slow, forward and back, just to ensure even transfer of that foil. And then you get to see all the corners, how gorgeous they are. And even when you do overlap them, they look stunning. And I lifted everything up at once, so I kind of went a little crazy. Okay, isn't that so pretty? Okay, now we're going to go ahead and foil our sentiment. We'll place this face up, and then the same foil we're going to use face down. But this time, instead of using a colored cardstock, we're going to use white. Just built my sandwich, and then we'll run this through the die cutting machine. And this font is gorgeous. It's very scripty and old-fashioned. Okay, I get to share with you what it looks like. It's so pretty. Isn't that gorgeous? Just that alone would make a beautiful card by itself. Okay, that's all the foiling we're going to do, so I want to make a little bit of room. I'm going to go ahead and die cut out my Hello, just using the coordinating die. I'll just place it on my panel and then secure it with some purple tape. And it's a pretty good size. At first I thought it would only fit portrait or landscape style, but it does fit portrait style too. So I was going to do a landscape style card today, and I changed my mind. I thought we're going to do a portrait. So it die cuts beautifully. Isn't that a pretty font? Okay, we're going to make a little more room and build our card. With the Glimmer Hot Foil, it's so easy to create a card. The foil does all the work for you. I think it's just stunning. I matted my blue foiled cardstock on a piece of white cardstock, just so a little bit of white is peeking out on the edges. This way it flows better with my sentiment. I'm going to add some foam squares behind my sentiment. We're going to place that in the center of our panel. And as I got ready to do this, I thought there was a lot of open white space, so I'm going to bring in some Distress Oxide ink and add a little bit of shading using another teal blue. This is Peacock Feathers. Just using my blending brush, I want to add a little bit of color in that center, just kind of balancing out that open space. We'll go ahead and adhere this to our card base. For my card base today, I'm using a darker teal cardstock. We're going to place that in the center, and you can see I have a little bit of that card base peeking out. We're going to add our sentiment, and then just to spread out that white a little bit more, I'm going to bring in some Nuvo crystal drops in Simply White. I'm dotting all the corners and then adding a few dots in that open area. And then I thought that's gorgeous as it is, but I wanted to brighten it up and make it a little bit more summery. So I had some daisy stickers in my stash. I just added 3 of them around my sentiment, then added a few more white little drops, and that finishes off my card today, guys. Very easy, but I think it just turned out so summery and pretty. Thanks so much for joining me, guys. If you're interested in the Glimmer Hot Foil, the new Decorative Glimmer Hot Foil plates, I'll link them down below for you. But thanks so much for joining me. I wish you a lovely day, and we will see you again real soon. Bye-bye.